Hello, good morning. Welcome to Sunday morning coffee of unspecified number. Got a lot of bits for show and tell today. And I've just been trying to sort the glare because there's loads of sun, which is really good, but I'm kind of facing it. So just need to go, it's not you, it's the sun. Put a little block there, it's fine. On the sun, not you. So I've even cobbled together some notes last minute, and let's get going. So it's doing its light thing. I knew there was a reason that glare light was bad. Hopefully it'll calm down. I'll just not move. So this week, oh yeah, that reminds me as well. Hang on, one more thing. Dave, it is Dave. I can see his little streak there. There we are. That other thing to mention. So sorry for the jaunty start. Bit weird today. Oh, a bit weird. So I've got the week to talk about, as always. Thanks for coming along. There's a bunch of you there. Hello. I've got community minis to talk about. There he is. There's the boy. There's the boy. Oh, what a lad. Look at that power. I've got community minis, the specific community minis, ghouls, that's it. Ghouls. Ghouls community minis. What's been happening in the week? And BritCon, because last week I'd done the BritCon Saturday, and then I'd come back, done the stream Sunday morning, and then went back to BritCon. Dun, dun, dun. So I'll start there, I guess. So I went back to BritCon. Well, not straight after. I ended up having a micro nap, and then I got there, and as was happening a lot last week, and this week a little bit. Turns out when I get somewhere, everyone else leaves. So I was going to meet up with a bunch of people. And then when I was on the tram, they went, "Oh, we're all going now." I'm like, "Oh, all right." But I fought the anxiety. I shouldn't shouldn't mention my own brainness. But yeah, even though it's something really silly, my brain was then like, "I'll just go home then. Go home. No one cares about you. They don't even want you to be there." Which in the past I would have, which is quite an overreaction. But again, that's what my brain does. And I know it's ridiculous. But I persevered and I got there, and there were a couple of people left. So that was really nice. I got to see them. Not of the whole show, just the people I wanted to meet up with. It was my fault for having a little nap after the show. It was entirely my fault. But yeah, brains are like, just go home, go to bed. That's the day gone. Like, no, brain, no. So I got there, and what was weird was, well, I chatted for about half an hour. Then I went and chatted to my mate Dave at Sarissa. I thought, well, what I was kind of planning on doing on the Sunday was having a bit of a chat with traders, because I don't normally get much of a chance. And because the Saturday is really quiet, that show, I thought I won't be interrupting them selling because it's going to be really quiet. So I get to sort of like, I'll sit behind their stall and have a bit of a chat or whatever. So I was chatting to Dave, and then I heard somebody say, "Oh, there's only half an hour left of the show." What? It closes at 2. Like, what? I've not seen that anywhere. So it's good for the traders. I thought, if I was trading, that closing on 2 on a Sunday would be a dream. But I didn't know. So I was like, oh, so I only got half an hour to look around the show. And I was like, everywhere I go, people leave. So I had to do a bit of a swish around. But what I did do was go back to that stand on Saturday that I bought loads and buy even more. And then I had like 5 minutes to look at the rest of it. So I didn't even see everyone. There was a bunch of people I was going to go say hello to. But I ended up going, whoop, no time. But the tournaments were still open, but the trade hall was closed. But it was kind of weird because some people just weren't packing up. So I think I did like illegally walk around for a bit. Because I kind of forgot, because I'm kind of like, well, I'm a trader. I'm like, not at this show, Annie, you're a punter. You can't just walk in the secret areas. So I went and saw Andy. He's playing a tournament this morning. Hey, Alan and other people that I've missed. Cool, Alan. It's unusual to have an Alan at all on here, so good morning. And so Andy's away at Warhammer World today, and he's at a tournament. And he was at a tournament last week at BritCon. He did come second in the end. I did pop over, and it was very tense, so I went whoop whoop. So he was over there. And oh yeah, I talked Sarissa into taking all the stuff back that I bought, all of that scenics. So I had to sort. Wow, I didn't have to. I don't know why my brain. I thought, well, I'll go home, and I was feeling a bit self-conscious about the house. I thought, oh no, they'll see my house in a bit of a mess. Um, and then I thought, I'll just get a lift back with them. And because I was standing there, I went into default and started helping them take the stand down. And then I dismantled loads of grid wall. And then I was about to start carrying some grid wall through the venue and went, Annie, you're not working and you're recovering from concussion. Maybe not. So I did agree to meet them back at mine. Then I got a head start so I could tidy up a little bit as well. Um, but yeah, I was like, oh, I can't just stand here. I've always got to pitch in. It's my nature. But I was glad that I did eventually realise that it was a terrible idea. Um, so I was doing better, but not that much better. As an update, I think I'm about maybe 80% now. I'm almost fine. I'm just still taking it a bit cautious. But if I tilt my head, I feel like I'm drowning and you get that like sting. So I don't know what that is, but other than that and the endless headaches, I'm okay. But a lot of the awful has gone, so there's that. So yeah, and then it was really nice Sunday evening. So Trish and Dave from Sarissa came, dropped all the terrain off that I'd bought, and hung out just for a little bit because they had to get back. But hung out, and I got to show more people my garden. Yay! Um, so I had quite a bit of social last weekend, which was really, 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 really nice. So that was ace. But nothing that was too much. And then oh god, I did take Monday off. Don't know why. Like in the Spice Girls, I took Monday off because yeah, I thought whoa now I've done enough. Still trying to get back to it a bit more. Um, but then but then was it Monday? Might have been. I don't know. Sorry, I've just gone off now. Gone off. I'm gonna drink this coffee. I have the Weird World mug today. Mug fans. As it's got three of my favourite people. It's done by Marty, artwork, and the figures, well, the characters are by Ian and Joe at Fenris. So I was like, oh, I'll get a friend mug today. Friend mug. And I can talk about Marty in a bit as well, who's doing some more stuff for us. Dun, dun, dun. So that was some of the that wasn't boring. I get very self-conscious that I'm just this boring rambler. It's because I'm on TikTok and I scroll through and I see these lives and they're just really dull. And I think, who's watching this? And then, and then I think, oh no, I hope mine aren't this terrible. And people check in and go, she's just rambling away, and then go. So yeah, sorry if they are. What's wrong with me today? Oh no, oh no. So what have I got that is interesting to talk about, Dave? I know the light's going weird. Wee, Daniel's here. Woo woo. Um, oh my god. Humans. There was a lot of humaning. So this weekend, I made sure that I've not seen anybody at all, and Andy's been at tournaments, so it's been quite nice to recharge because that would have been very very exhausting. So while I was tempted to do more stuff, I've been sensible, but I've also kind of overdone it doing things around the house. Woo. But that's good news. It's because I've got it on this weird card, and it's not in my normal note style. I'm like, what? What's this? So community minis. Oh yeah, Mum was here. Mum was here. Hey, there's Joe. Woo woo. I hope your back is feeling a little bit better. Yeah, Mum was here Thursday and Friday, and we did we did a massive trade order, which was ace, which is still being packed. It's gonna be five boxes of stuff to America. Woo! And they always break my brain a bit as much as they're awesome because it's loads of money. It's like, oh, I've got to get all this and I can't get it wrong. So Mum always helps. So she does the first pick. So she picks everything for those big orders. But then I go and check. So I've got peace of mind. And I check and pack them as I like, rather than trying to explain how I like packing them. And I just double check that there's nothing that Mum might have missed, that like a weird wrong blister pack or something like that. So it means it's double checked as well, especially when they're going all that way. So we've got a huge amount of that done. And then Mum blister packed loads and loads of the restock. She's pretty much got through it, I think. So we've got a lot done. So it's been the first sort of proper week back since concussion, which has been over 3 weeks. Well, as today, it's basically 4 weeks since I knocked my head, which is absolutely wild, to be fair. Um, I can't believe that much time has passed. I saw a thing saying it was 8 weeks since the Titan sub malarkey. It feels like that was 4 weeks ago, not 8 weeks. What on earth? Thanks, Jez. Nice chilled though. Um, oh, Jasper, before I forget, check your email because I sent you an email with a question. Yes. Also, something cool that you may have missed, which I'll get to generally in a bit. So, community minis, that's the big thing I've been working on at the moment. I'm surrounded by books. So, oh, there's Lil, talking of Lil. If I mention people, they turn up. So it's quite a superpower. It looks like I have a weird orb, but it's that weird orb. In fact, I'm going to lean here a little bit. Hey, just that's okay as long as you saw. But yeah, I'll talk about that in a bit as well. So the community minis, I am trying to catch up on them. I'm aware that the whole project is so confusing. I spoke to a few people for their honest feedback, and they've all said it's confusing. I've said it's confusing. I've said if it was me and someone else was doing it, I'd probably go, "What are they doing? I don't even understand. What, you put money there, but then how do you know what the where?" So I totally admit that it is way confusing. So I appreciate people for just going along with it. And I know that people who saw it sort of later on have absolutely no idea what's going on. And I've been purposefully vague as to not add any more confusion. I'm going to try and sort of clear a bit of it up. I might do a separate video on it as well to make sure other people see it. Because when I type big lots of text, nobody reads it. So back in this is the story with some Dave background. See how he shakes the whole cage, look. You can also see Karen, but she's just still there. Well, she's having a little nap. There's a Karen body. But yeah, Dave doesn't, he goes, "Oh, I'm going to wait till Annie's talking, then I'm going to drink so that she remembers that I am here." Dave's so remember back in 2021, I think were we coming out of the pandemic then? I don't even know when the pandemic was. Was that 2020? It was 2021, I think. It was 2021, but whether it was still, I think we were kind of in the tail end. We're still in the pandemic, but you know what I mean, of things being locked down and the bigger sort of changes where it's all in the news. So I had this great idea. I had a great idea that we'd sort of crowdfund in the background, so without it being a big Kickstarter, just a mini now and again, mini now and again that people wanted to vote for. You could vote for your own mini, and then you could crowdfund just that one mini. So there's no point doing a Kickstarter for one mini. And I went through Ko-fi, so you'd vote, but there's so many places. There's 5 places, which makes it really confusing. So you vote on Baggy's Cave, you nominate some people on Baggy's Cave who you want to be made into a miniature. You vote for it. That person is chosen. Then we go over to Ko-fi. Anyone who wants that mini puts a $5 in. And when we reach the target, that one mini is then made. People who put the $5 in get a coupon so they can go and buy it get it off the website. And the people who didn't can just buy it as normal. So there's no obligation to do any of the things. Obviously, the more people that paid to get it made mean it gets there faster, basically. It gets made faster. But that's already confusing, isn't it? So then it repeats and it keeps going on like that. And then eventually we build up quite a nice catalogue of these community minis. What I didn't expect was for it to be absolutely wild. So I think almost straight away we got to 6 minis unlocked, but I hadn't even done the voting for what they were going to be. So they were paid for before anyone knew what they were. And that's what got me in a bit of a head there, because then we had the voting. So people had paid for a miniature, then they were voting. Then if they didn't get what they wanted in the vote, they were getting annoyed. but they'd already paid. And you know what I mean? It's the wrong way round. So it should be you vote, then you pay if you want it, rather than you pay and then you might end up have previously paid for a mini that you don't want because it ended up way more popular than you thought. Does that make sense? This is why I need to do a proper video on it. So that again, part of it's probably me overthinking and that most people don't really care. But it kind of got it the wrong way around a bit and a bit confusing. And then because it became a big head thingy, I didn't do anything with it for ages till the start of this year, which is a shocking amount of time, and I do apologise. And I have updated people quite a bit on it because it was one of those keeping me awake at night things. So start of the year, I went right. I'm not doing a Kickstarter till I have got this done, till I've got the community minis done, because it's not fair because people have paid money. So hey Jill, morning. Noggin is a little bit better. Currently, it's fine. Currently, I feel fine, apart from a weird anxiety. But other than that, I'm all right. So yeah, start of the year, I thought, right, we'll do this. Let's do it. So I've got the first 6 designed. I'm really chuffed because it had become a thing that I was a bit not resentful of. But I was like, oh no, community minis. And then once I started doing the research, because I set aside a flawless plan, I got everything prepped for a weekend of research, and it was ace. And I got really into it, and I went, yes, this is why I did it because it's awesome. Don't worry, Daniel. See you later. So yeah, I got the first 6 designed. They're now made. I'm also aware that my rambling's probably now making it more confusing. So got the 6 made. They've been produced. Woohoo! So at that point, 13 models have been unlocked. So I've got 13 to catch up with. So we've got the next 4 have been voted for. So 10 have been designed, which is good. So I've only got 3 behind, which it's not too horrific now. But somebody I spoke to in the week on the phone was saying, do you want to space, should you be spacing these out more rather than just bombarding? I'm like, no, because I want to be totally caught up. I want to have 1 or 2 figures in the to-do pile. So then I can restructure how it works. So it's less confusing for new people to go, what? So the idea is that you are paying for future minis. So anyone that puts money into the Ko-fi now, that would be for a future mini, not to buy, say, Joan of Arc or whatever. So I need to make all that clear, basically, because just from saying this out loud, it's like, what on earth? I have no idea. If I was you, basically, I'd be going, so I do what? And because it was so long ago, and a lot of people, it was just very much appreciated fiver, but it's not the sort of thing you might remember. Whereas if you've backed a Kickstarter and put 50 quid or something in, you're a bit more aware of it. But a lot of people put the fiver in because it's so long ago. All I get through Ko-fi is your PayPal email. So I spent the day on Wednesday emailing everybody who'd prepaid, basically, with a code for the total amount that they've put in, because some people put in multiple amounts. And I'm slightly concerned that because it was a while ago, and maybe that's not the email address that you check, then you'll miss it. So I feel like I'm nagging people, going, check if you've paid for this, because a few people I asked and said, no, I didn't put anything into that. And then I go, you did. You did. So that's not on you. That's basically like, you have given me money, I want to give you thing. It's a bit like unclaimed Kickstarters and stuff like that. So I just want to make sure everyone gets what they've paid for, basically. That's the main sort of stress with that. Because it was about 100 people, and then about, I think, 16 of you by Friday had cashed in the coupon, which made me a bit worried that people hadn't seen it. But then on the other side, there's no pressure to do it. You don't have to do it right now. You could think, oh, I'm going to wait till I do another order, which is also absolutely fine because there's no real deadline on these. The only thing I think may happen is that as a rule, they're a fiver to keep it simple, but some may end up being a bit more grandiose. Joan of Arc, which will be a fiver for the pre-buy people. but later on, maybe a few months down the line, I may have to put some of their prices up. So it means if you dawdle a bit too much, a bit again like a Kickstarter, you might just miss the sort of early price. So I totally need to restructure how that all works, and I've pretty much got an idea for it. But in order to do that, I need to catch up with it. So um, the first six are sculpted. The only thing we're waiting on is two. Oh, my legs again. Why do I do this? Why do I sit weird? um, so we're waiting on. I just realised that the last 10 minutes. If you have no idea what I was talking about, neither do I. So don't worry about it. That is the point. I don't know. Um, so I'm waiting on two of the minis being painted. Then, oh, my legs have gone dead again. Why do I sit like this? Two of the minis have been painted and the artwork has been done. So to make them community minis a bit special, I've always wanted them to not just be a mini. So you get the mini, the normal packaging where you get the painted picture as well. And when they go, they'll be in stores and stuff as well. So that'll just be them as they are. But you also get a card, like a little card, which I need to sort that out, which has artwork on one side. In my head, it's got parchment sort of background, but I haven't designed it yet. But probably be something like that with a little sketch of who they are and um, a sketch and a little bit of info that I've written about that person. So like a little, it's going to make it nice. So it's like a little collectible card, basically. Um, and that's, I'm not quite decided yet whether I'll just get 1 million of them printed, because that's how print works. You can either get 1 or 1 trillion, and it's like the same cost. But I also might limit them to make it a little bit more special. So it might be like the first 50 people or the first 100 people or something. The only reason I never do that is because I'm scared if I only sell a few of them, and then in the future, I say, "Oh, these are really limited edition," and 10 years down the line, you're still getting the little card, and it's like, "Oh, look, Annie's a failure." But I think that's possibly what I'll do, just to give it some momentum, so people give it that like Kickstarter momentum. So if you're in the first bit, you get the special card, something like that. For now, for the first load, everyone's getting the card. Don't worry about that. But again, just to rework. So I've just rambled about nothing, but it makes sense in my head. The main bit where you can find the information about the Community Miniature Project is the website, which is linked there. It's communityminiaturesproject.com. So it's a blog where I keep, so because everything's everywhere, that's where all the news for that is. And I'm going to try and keep that regularly updated. Yeah, a bit like the giants in miniature. Do they just make them, or is there any discussion about it? Because I never actually checked. But it's the same sort of thing where, yeah, it's just like a cool hero. What else was I going to see? There was going to be something. There was. I'm going to sip my coffee. Sip my coffee. So talking of coffee, that Ko-fi website, I reckon I can cut that out of the equation and use the gift cards on the website, because there's a new gift card that I haven't put in yet. So the gift cards are different from the coupons, and you get change and stuff. So I think I'm going to put, for future minis, a limited amount of gift cards. So once they're gone, it means that the mini is paid for. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. So specific community minis gift cards, but need to make sure that they're clearly that and not just a gift card. See what I mean? It's like, I know things like a Patreon might solve it, but then that's a whole other thing. And I just don't want people to have to go to different websites. So maybe there's a limited amount you can limited amount of people. So only the people that fund it, back it, basically get the special card, something like that. But then it's like I'm paying for the artwork, and I'd like I'd like that artwork to be distributed more. So I do need to figure that out a little bit. Mm. But we'll see. But for now, I'm just saying, unless you've got a repeat subscription that you're happy with it just going out, don't put any money into the Ko-fi. Just wait. And if there's any minis coming out, which leads me to my main bit, you can pre-order 6 of them. You can technically pre-order 10 of them. So they're on the website on the community minis bit. Um, the first 6 are pre-ordered so that you will get them next month, in theory. Assuming I've got everything together and don't bump my head, there's no reason why not. So the first 6 pre-order for shipment next month. The next 4, I've put December in. So anyone, especially overseas, oh yeah, Prince One Four. I know I've already thought. Is Top Trump's copywritten? Can you do that same concept? Or so I don't know what I could do. That could be like a collector game. See what I mean? That's interesting. Um, the others are December. So it's mostly if you're overseas or you've already given me a whack load of money and you just want to wait, then you can pre-order them. And again, you don't have to. It's only if you're very sure that that's what you you want those minis, regardless of what they end up looking like, that you have faith in me. It's okay if you don't have faith in me. It's absolutely fine. I don't want anyone to pre-order the ones that just have a big question mark and then afterwards go, nah, it's not like I thought, so can I have my money back? Because it's just going to get messy. If it's not messy enough. So they're up for pre-order. So if you did back, this is I should have said this at the start before I went in my ramble and lost everyone. If you did back the Ko-fi, check your email. It's what's very important because I have a little explanation email in there and a code, which will get you money off. And it's worth checking even if you think you didn't do it because it was a while ago. So again, you might have and have forgotten about it. Mm. If you weren't, again, it's I've been asking people, were you in it? And they're like, oh no, sorry. Like, no, it's okay. It's okay if you weren't in it. It's just if you weren't and you want those minis, you can just pre-order them through the website as normal. So you just go add them to your cart. Obviously, because it's a pre-order, anything else you add will be held with that, so it won't get part shipped or anything. But you can order as much as you like with them. So it just stops you. The whole thing at the start was me getting worried that people wouldn't want to just order one mini at a time. So that's why I ended up getting into a. I don't know. When I set it up, I didn't expect. When I set it up, I didn't expect it to be as popular. That's the weird downside. But it being popular is good. This is good. I just didn't expect it. So that just means I have to restructure it a little bit. The other issue is because most of it was so long ago, and this again is entirely my fault and me being far too open, but that money has gone in the account then. It's then been spent because it was so long ago, didn't go into an extra pocket, especially because it was through pandemic and stuff. So the money is gone, but I'm still having to do them. And because I'm nice and I'm on my word and I really want this project to succeed, I'm obviously not going, oh, now I need to do a GoFundMe or a Kickstarter to pay for the things that people have already paid for, which sounds ridiculous, but I keep seeing people do that sort of stuff. I'm like, no way, no way. It just means that my purse strings are like, because I've now got to pay for all those sculpts. And the the community minis doesn't cover the whole cost of sculpt production, artwork, painting. It's more of a halfway. I think it'd be about £500 to be an accurate price, and it was £200. I've since put it up to 300, but it's kind of like I meet you about halfway. But because, which is fine when it's sort of like one every month or something like that. But because it's so backdated, I've just got this chunk of individual sculpts that I've got to pay for, that have been prepaid. So I'm kind of hoping that there's a lot of people who weren't involved that can then buy them now without the code. Or what has been happening, which is a bit like pledge managers, is people. What's going on with this today? With pledge managers, is people buy other stuff at the same time, and it's been really quiet in the shop. So it means that at least I've got some movement. And it's entirely my fault, which kind of leads into my next bit because I want to talk about some of the minis as well. Don't worry. And none of this is moaning. It's just me trying to blur because it's much easier to say than type, I think, and not be taken out of context. Also, so basically, it's eating up a lot of money, which would have been the next few projects. But I'm very dedicated to making this, seeing this through, and not just seeing it through to the end, keeping it going. So tightening it, getting it all done, tightening it up, but then having it as a sort of monthly or once every 2 months. There's a new community mini, and it's a lot slower. um, and we can have more time in that voting process because some of them were quite tight in the voting. And I saw a few comments in the week where people were disappointed about certain stuff not being picked. Um, and I'm going to put more limits on that. Things like you can only nominate one person, maybe, so you think a bit more about who you're nominating, and stuff like that, basically. So it's I just wanted to reassure everyone that it's all it's all being taken care of. I'm really confident in it, and I really like it. I absolutely love it. I've got some stuff to talk about who I've been researching this week as well. But I just wanted you to know that it is a bit of a it's a bit of a nightmare for me currently, but it's my current I think it is my current number one task is to get this level, and then almost to sort of relaunch it because I don't want to talk about it. Like I'm not mentioning it in interviews or anything. So I'm like, oh, I don't want more people to just turn up and put money in the Kofi and it just be more complicated. Um, so yeah, if you want those minis and you have prepaid, inbox coupon to the shop. If you want the minis and you had nothing to do with the Kofi, to the shop. So those six are up for pre-order basically, and they are made and they are cast and they're just waiting in my office for the final frills before they get shipped, and they look lovely, so I'm very excited about them. um, will I go into them? I'll tie while I'm talking money. Oh, I need a little stool or something, or a sofa that I'm sat next to. um, and yeah, so I'm just that needs a whole rejig. But thank you for trusting me with that. That's a major thing that you know like I wouldn't have trusted me. I'd have been like, what is she doing? Why has she not done our community minis? I'm sure we voted for Ella of Aquitaine 2 years ago, but it's been worth it. Hopefully, it's been worth it for you because it's been ace. So, in terms of money, ow, the other rest of my money has gone into ghouls. Ghouls. I just bought a few more ghouls yesterday. Ghouls. From Paul Muller, who's not a cheap man. Oh, my leg. um, so quite a lot of ghouls. The next Kickstarter is ghouls. The only thing I need to do still is to finalize what this ghoul mama's going to look like. The ghoul matriarch, um, who may end up being resin. But uh, so oh, everyone's leaving today. Bye, no worries. It's okay. Can watch it later. So the ghouls are coming. Ow, my leg. Ow. There's going to be a ghoul Kickstarter, and I'm starting to think, when am I actually doing this? So it's going to be, what are we now? I'm going to aim for the end of, oh, that'll be in like a sort of spooky season then, won't it? Or shall I wait till actual spooky season? End of September, end of October. Because then it'd be over Halloween. But then other people do stuff over Halloween, so it'd probably get it might get lost in other Halloween things, might it? And if the stuff's ready. Um, so it's only gonna originally was gonna be 5 days. I might do 5 days to be fair. It was gonna be bamming out, but Paul's now on this like ghoul mission, and I've got more ghouls than I expected. Ghoul timber. Yeah, I like that. And I've got some really nice art to go. I've gone a bit ghoul crazy. And I've got a bit of artwork to go with all that as well. So I want to make it like a nice, neat little thing. Nothing that goes wild. There may be one or two ghoul stretch goals, but that's it. And it's going to be very much ghouls. Although Shane's done me a couple of revenants that I might put in as little add-ons or something. But ghouls, it's going to be Ghoul Tribe, solid, all Paul Muller ghouls. So I'm going to try and use Paul's name in it. Stretch ghouls, yes. All the ghoul puns. Looking forward to doing what they know all the artwork for it with bones and all that. So that'll be ace. And don't worry, the other ghouls will be in there, but they'll be in there as the add-ons. So I've got the Joe ghouls, which are ace, the swampy ghouls, and I've got Andrew May's Ghoul Queen, so they're going to be in there as well, but not as the main. I'm trying to capitalize on the Paul Muller name, if that's a think people might want to paint them ready for Halloween. I won't have them to them by Halloween. I'd have to do the Kickstarter now. That'd be wild. Although, no, Annie, stop it. Can't do it that fast. It's when people feel Halloweeny. But at least, yeah, may end of let's say end of September. I'm booking it in. Booking it in. Because yeah, the last couple of months have been not a mess. It's just been say it's been me ill, me sad, me donking my head, me overworked, and things have just been happening, but they've not been happening on purpose so much. So that's why I really want to get these community minis cracked into, ghouls cracked into, get those projects. So I really want to do some World War II, but there is currently zero monies for it because I've got to get these out. But hopefully these will generate the money to do the next bit. And I've been seeing a few posts from other companies. Pendraken did a really good blog post just about how everything sucks at the moment. And again, it's not something I like to talk about because I always feel you're obliged, which you're not, because you're definitely not your fault. But yeah, small business running has been absolutely terrible and getting worse, and it's getting worse and worse. And everyone else I talk to is also in the same stressed boat. So it's just everything is nah. And while I'm kind of just catching up with previous projects and not getting the money in right now, it's extra. So everything is always appreciated. So, I really appreciate you coming here, listening to my weird rambles, or any of the, the social medias or any of that. It means it helps me know that it's not just me making stuff that nobody wants or something like that. Like, well, if people hated my live stream, they wouldn't turn up. So here you are, hate watching. Maybe going on, oh, what's you rambling about today? But no, I do really appreciate it. Oh no, Jez nods in currently dead film and TV industry. Yeah, it sucks. And obviously it sucks for me as a small business, it sucks for everyone. And I like the suck line. The human centipede suck line is just sucking. What horrific. You know what I mean. On that bombshell, now I've got a few more bits to talk about. One before I forget, it's the Wargames Soldiers and Strategy annual survey, and I keep meaning to make a video, and I haven't, but I'll remind you now. If you go on any of their social medias or website, they've got a link. They said it's been a bit slow in feedback this year, so if you want to fill that in, just for their annual stats, that would be good. Oh, got a bit. We can see the rainbow coming up my face there. And oh yeah. Yeah, absolutely, Joe. Yeah, everything's just the suck train. So I've been learning about Joan of Arc this week because the first six they're researched, they're researched, they're designed, they're done, they're up for pre-order. Marty's doing some nicer artwork than my artwork just to make them all coherent. Yes. So the next four are Joan of Arc, Mary Fields, Ada Lovelace, and Audrey Hepburn. So I've started some research on these. Joan of Arc's mostly been this week. This book is amazing. Oh yeah, also thanks for buying that Forgotten Heroes book. You won't regret it. It's wicked. Oh, thanks. Like I get anything from it's just ace. It's just I was just reading it going, yes, exactly. Oh, colours next month. Oh. Joan of Arc. It's a kid's book. And because I've been struggling reading because of the head noggin scratch bump, I was out in the hammock and I thought I'd give this a go. So it's sort of text. And the pictures are so nice. Who's the artist? Michael Foreman. And just for a general basic intro, with lots of facts, actually, it's pretty good. It's not really embellished about Joan of Arc. It's actually wicked. Really like it. So that was the start. Yeah, I think he is. I think he did write Warhorse. He's done a lot of that sort of stuff. I watched the Mila Jovovich film. She's one of my favourites. I love her. I thought it was wicked. It was funnier than I expected. There were a few weird funny bits in it. Mum watched it with me. Oh God, hang on. I've got rainbow. I've got rainbow reflector thing, but the light's bouncing off it. There we go. Hang on. There you go, Andy Pillow. That's covered it. Whew. Um, yeah, made mum watch her burning. Um, the only bit was I wasn't a fan of if anyone else was to go, oh, Annie's mentioned this, so I'm going to watch it. The first like 20 minutes has got a pretty unnecessary um, assault scene in it, which didn't add to the film. I get why they did it, but I still think it's wrong. Basically, because her motivation um, is to serve God, and she wants to defeat the English because that's her calling from God. They'd obviously gone, this doesn't translate to cinema, so we'll make something horrific happen to her mum as a plot device by the English to give her the incentive. And it was just, yeah, just a bit not needed because the rest of it was ace. And I wasn't prepared for it. So yeah, that was the only bit. So if sort of content warning, if someone goes, "Oh, Annie mentioned this film," and I'm like, "Oh God," yeah, that was the armor was so terrible. Oh yeah, loads of it's not a historically accurate film, but it was good. It was a good, entertaining film. Some of the bits were Jez says the bit with Jesus or God or Satan or a subconscious is awesome. Yeah, I think Dustin Hoffman's like her subconscious inner voice. I think Mila played her really well, pretty much as I imagined her as well. Yeah, it's really trippy. There's those bits with like all warping and the bell and all this. No, it's good. Very bloody as well. We're like, holy crap. So we watched that. And I'm currently reading this, which isn't so much the story of Joan of Arc, it's like an essay or multiple essays on how the Joan of Arc story has been told and all this. And it's all unnecessary for making the actual mini, but that's what I like doing. That I get all the backstory to know the person, and then I can talk about why I've designed the mini that way. I pretty much know what the mini's going to look like, but I want to know all the stuff anyway, and it helps me be able to talk about it and just know a little bit more. A couple of people have been asking for a fighty pose, and I don't think it's going to happen because she didn't do any fighting. And as I said before, I'd rather have people who did fight be fighting because there's plenty of them, and you can vote for them in the Community Minis project. There's still 3 more that have been prepaid, so there's 3 more minis to come. Let me just drink a bit of coffee. The other one I'm on at the moment, I did a bit of Ada Lovelace research before. I think I'm ready to do my hard research. I'm currently just in the light reading stage, a book of essays on Joan of Arc. And Audrey's going to be last because I think she's going to be the hardest. I'm going to have some extra polls on her as to what people want, because you can kind of have young Dutch resistance ballet Audrey, film star Audrey, or old humanitarian Audrey. So and that's quite a change. So I'm going to be doing extra polls on that. So I'm going to get the other 3 done first. Mary Fields, also children's books. Yay! And the artwork helps as well. Very basic, these ones. Far more basic than the Morpurgo one. They got some wicked artwork. Look at that guy! She's like, yeehaw! He's like, oh no. So, I read the 2 Mary Fields children's. Ooh, that one's been working as a blocker there as well. Got another one, Fearless Mary. It's nice to have the kids' books between all the heavy essay books, so they're always my starting point. I've got a kids' book on Ada Lovelace as well. And yeah, the illustrations are nice as well, just for a bit of visual, just rather than bunches of text all the time. I've been listening to a few bits on YouTube about her as well. And Joan made mum listen to a bunch of stuff when we were working. So I've pretty much got in my head a good idea of what Ada, Joan, and Mary are going to look like. So soon I'm going to get to the heavy design. The heavy design point of it. Rob, if you try posting a link, it probably hasn't sent it because it's got an auto no link, which is rubbish. I can't do anything about it. So what am I doing? yeah, I need to get into the heavy research bit where I then properly design and do the blog posts and all that. I've just been kind of again easing myself back in. Could you email me at Robert, because I can't see it there, it doesn't show it. Or in the comments afterwards, just put a little link there. It might not let you do that either. The internet's rubbish, isn't it? Yeah, if you email me it. Oh, you got my email. So I'm doing Mary and Joan. I've been reading them out this week. I've been on it. I think that's the problem. I think I may be sloping down from the on it. That's why I'm a bit weird today. I'm in a weird transitional zone. Hence the rambling. I did some hobby yesterday, which I wanted to show you. I know people hate the term did some hobby, so maybe try. I did some assembling and I did some painting, and I haven't done any for ages, so they're not finished yet. Finish them today. But it's also a slight plug, but I wouldn't just paint something as a plug, as you know, it's painted because I like it. Containers! Shipping containers! Woo! The first one I did was this. I made a right pig's ear of it. I ended up with glue doing that as it's all falling on itself because I didn't read the instructions. But yeah, these are from Renedra, and they're in stock. We stock them. They came out at Salute, and it's took me that long to get my stuff together to get them in stock, which should have taken me like a day. So I got some in stock. Yeah, I got myself some because I am been so excited by them because they're just like so fun. Jasper, are you gonna make up fictional shipping companies for the sides? Heck yes. So I've got Ian at Fenris is gonna get some, and he's gonna have a little experiment doing some stencils because I want to put all sorts of little stencils. I was wondering if you can get with whether transfers would work or whether the texture wouldn't do it for some like graffiti or something. So I thought if I sprayed graffiti, I'd need an airbrush, which I don't have. They're plastic kits, yeah. I haven't got the packaging anymore, but they just come in slabs, so it's just slabs, and they just go together nicely. The door's open. I had them closed on this because I messed it up. But yeah, on this one they don't. You can open them because you can open it and it'd be a mystery. Oh, it's a little lever. There we are. And there'll be loads of zombies in there or something. So I've got a pink one and a red one, and I was painting them outside, so I was being a bit sloppy because I was just sat on the back step. But I thought I did an alright job with a bit of grot on them. Just inked them, dry brushed them a bit. But I've run out of the rust, and I was using the GW rust system just because it was really easy, which I did on these cars, and I want to chuck rust all over them. But they've been out of the dark a bit for ages. But I think I'm going to have a go using some of the basing grit stuff to put on there. Oh, nice. That'd be really useful, Robert. Thank you. What am I doing? Just looking at these. Woo, shipping containers. So once I've got some rust dripping down there, especially from bits like there, a bit of rust there, pile on the top. All my tufts are at the office, so I had to stole 3 tufts off Andy just to test it out. I went, yeah, that's what I want. Tufts and like mud deposits on there. So I'm just going to tuft the heck out of it and then put some some brown on top, if that's the case, wouldn't it? But yeah, to just do them basic, that's table ready. Just painted, glued. So it's painted, glued, painted. Dry brush silver bits around it, and then put some heavy Nuln oil on it and left it up that way so it'd all gather around the bottom because that's where you'd get all the grot. Although it seemed to have done upwards there. And that's it. But yeah, I'm gonna add some rust on to rust them up. And just neaten like this bit. I'll put some darker wash because I put a sort of pinky wash on that one. And just neaten up the inside of the doors because that's what I might have, sort of a jar like that. Is there anything in there? So it's just for them because for £10 you get 2 and you get 4 pallets. What? And Dickie Boyd Builds has made a whole container yard, which I kind of want. So yeah, the whole yard like that. I've done this pink because near where Fenris lives, there's a something like pink storage company, and they're all pink. So there are pink containers in existence. You also get these pallets. I haven't dry brushed them yet, but you get these little wooden pallets. So you get 4 of those because they just fit on the sprue. And what did make me happy yesterday? So I've got Ian at Fenris making me making me planters for my garden. So because he's been salvaging pallets, and then to get him out of the workshop, I've been getting him to make me these planters from pallets. So in a weird inception-y thing, I made a pallet out of the planter. Took 2 planters to make 2 pallets to make the 1 planter, just by chopping them up. It's a bit messy, but that's what an actual pallet planter is anyway. It's not it's part of the charm. And yeah, borrowed a couple Andes tufts. The gamer's grass available on Bad Squiddo. So I made a little planter. How cute's that? It also needs dry brushing. It was really bright yesterday, and you know, when you can't really see anything, so I was only doing flat things really, out on the garden step. So I was happy to have made a few bits. Oh, I've got the car park next to the containers there. I'm like, oh, that looks looking really good. Starting to get some scenics for that built up for my own use. This is for The Walking Dead that we like playing in our own time, so not anything Bad Squiddo related, which is nice. It's nice to have that separation. That's pretty much what I've got. Community minis, boo. Great for making a hipster cafe. Yeah, you could actually give me. I'd love to add more to them. So like graffiti and graffiti, fake companies, more chipped off bits, something like that. Blood splats, maybe. Bit of blood splattered up your shipping container. So thanks for sticking with me. I thought it was gonna be a half hour. It's ended up being 50 minutes. Um, Apologies for the ramble on community minis and making it even more confusing. But yeah, you got the gist. If you want to pre-order them, you can. If you don't, that's also fine. Hey, you got Gerald from the other side of the planet. Yes, Southern Containers. Woo-woo. Good background for ghoul pics too. Yeah, so it's going to be ghoul crazy soon, and I want to show how you can use ghouls everywhere. They can be historic ghouls, they can be horror ghouls, and fantasy ghouls, sci-fi ghouls, because you get ghouls everywhere, don't you? Modern ghouls. So soon you won't be able to move for ghouls, I'm afraid. But for now, you won't be able to move for community minis because I'm going to be pushing them quite heavily next week to try and get more people to see them. And yeah, I think it's a good idea to. I'm gonna write it down, but then do a video um, talking about talking about the community minis just to keep people up to date. Probably make it more confusing, but if I've got a bit of a script, then it won't be too bad. Hopefully, so just be like Q&A. I need to put more posts up on the blog as well. But the ramble condensed of that is that it's confusing and a bit of a nightmare, but in a good way because it means lots of people want these minis, and we're going to keep making them, and it's going to be ace. But it's just getting over the hump at the moment. Next week, I'm going to be doing that. I think working on community minis, getting packaging made for. Finally, getting a chance to get the packaging made for the next. The Kickstarter minis, My Last Sunrise, they need a stock count. They need ordering for whatever I need to get. So then the retailers can start having them, and I can start properly releasing them. When's colours? When is colours? Hopefully, I'll have that by colours, because then Great Escape Games can have them on their stand with all the picture packaging and all looking nice, all the fresh, scribbly horror stuff. So there is lots happening. I've also been chatting to the exhibition people at Scunthorpe about going up and having a fiddle around with my bit of exhibition there because I'm not entirely happy with it. I just think it could be a lot better. But because I was too ill at the time, I couldn't do anything about it. So I might go to Scunthorpe and speak to the exhibition person and have a little go at that. Right, I'm not watching football, though Andy is, but I have no idea. I have no idea what's going on with the football. Thanks for coming, and I'll see you in the week, no doubt. Whee! Oh, Karen's still there. Bye from Karen as well. We'll say on her behalf. Bye.